Sahih al-Bukhari 1271. Narrated Aisha. The Prophet was shrouded in 3 pieces of cloth which were made of sohul, a type of cotton, and neither a shirt nor a turban were used. Sahih al-Bukhari 1272. Narrated Aisha. Allah's Messenger was shrouded in 3 pieces of cloth and neither a shirt nor a turban were used. Sahih al-Bukhari 1273. Narrated Aisha. Allah's Messenger was shrouded in 3 pieces of cloth which were made of white suhul and neither a shirt nor a turban were used. Sahih al-Bukhari 1274. Narrated Sa'di from his father. Once the meal of Abdurrahman bin Auf was brought in front of him, and he said, Musab bin Umair was martyred and he was better than I, and he had nothing except his bird, a black square narrow dress, to be shrouded in. Hamza or another person was martyred and he was also better than I and he had nothing to be shrouded in except his bird. No doubt, I fear that the rewards of my deeds might have been given early in this world. Then he started weeping. Sahih al-Bukhari 1275. Narrated Ibrahim. Once a meal was brought to Abdurrahman bin Auf and he was fasting. He said, Mus'ab bin Umar was martyred and he was better than I and was shrouded in his bird, and when his head was covered with it, his legs became bare, and when his legs were covered his head got uncovered. Hamza was martyred and was better than I. Now the worldly wealth have been bestowed upon us, or said a similar thing. No doubt, I fear that the rewards of my deeds might have been given earlier in this world. Then he started weeping and left his food. Sahih al-Bukhari 1276. Narrated Kababab. We emigrated with the Prophet, p.b.u.h, in Allah's cause, and so our reward was then surely incumbent on Allah. Some of us died and they did not take anything from their rewards in this world, and amongst them was Mus'ab bin Umar, and the others were those who got their rewards. Mus'ab bin Umar was martyred on the day of the Battle of Uhud and we could get nothing except his bird to shroud him in. And when we covered his head his feet became bare and vice versa. So the Prophet ordered us to cover his head only and to put idkir, a kind of shrub, over his feet. Sahih al-Bukhari 1277. Narrated Sahl. A woman brought a woven burda, sheet, having edging, border, to the Prophet. Then Sahl asked them whether they knew what is burda. They said that burda is a cloak, and Sahl confirmed their reply. Then the woman said, I have woven it with my own hands and I have brought it so that you may wear it. The Prophet accepted it, and at that time he was in need of it. So he came out wearing it as his waist sheet. A man praised it and said, Will you give it to me? How nice it is! The other people said, You have not done the right thing, as the Prophet is in need of it and you have asked for it when you know that he never turns down anybody's request. The man replied, By Allah, I have not asked for it to wear it but to make it my shroud. Later it was his shroud. Sahih al-Bukhari 1278. Narrated Amatiyah. We were forbidden to accompany funeral processions but not strictly. Sahih al-Bukhari 1279. Narrated Muhammad bin Sirin. One of the sons of Amatiyah died, and when it was the 3rd day she asked for a yellow perfume and put it over her body, and said, We were forbidden to mourn for more than 3 days except for our husbands. Sahih al-Bukhari 1280. Narrated Zainab bint Abi Salama. When the news of the death of Abu Sufyan reached from Sham, Habiba on the 3rd day, asked for a yellow perfume and scented her cheeks and forearms and said, No doubt, I would not have been in need of this, had I not heard the Prophet, saying, It is not legal for a woman who believes in Allah and the last day to mourn for more than 3 days for any dead person except her husband, for whom she should mourn for 4 months and 10 days.